have never seen anybody that did not get admission for bachelor students in Sweden. No, it has
Okay.
never happened. Yeah. So the thing
Really?
is, yes, yes. So the
Wow.
first thing that you need to do is there are two types of requirement. There is one we call general requirement and one we call specific requirement.
Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Loveth, and today it's a special one because we are having a special person, Cherry, with us. And of course, as you can see, her YouTube channel is Next Step with Cherry. And I am so excited because today we are going to be discussing about studying in Sweden and all the degree programs from scratch, of course, from the basics. So she's going to run you through all that you need to know about getting a study place in Sweden, getting your residence permit, and of course, coming for your studies. So let's get into it. Hello, Cherry. Welcome to my channel.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate. Hi guys, my name is Cherry, and I have a YouTube channel called Next Step with Cherry, where I share everything about Europe, moving to Europe, scholarship opportunities, job opportunities, free tuition studies, and I live in Lisbon, Portugal, as well as Västerås, Sweden. So I am so glad that we are going to be talking about Sweden today, because there are a lot of opportunities in Sweden that you might want to consider, because this is 2023 and we need to move abroad. So I am
Yes.
so glad to be in this channel today.
Good, good. You're welcome, and we are so glad to have you. So today, our first question is that we want to know about the easiest and fastest way to get to Sweden. So can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so when it comes to Sweden, Sweden is regarded as one of those developed countries in Europe. So when it comes to developed countries, what you need to know is that pathways are really difficult to get into that. Just like when we're talking about Canada, we know that Canada, USA are like highly developed when it comes to that. So in Sweden, in as much as people are going through the work route, there are a lot of people that are also getting jobs in Sweden. But the advisable way or the easiest way that can make you like land in Sweden is through study pathway. So study pathway is very easy, because the admission, when you get everything correct, you get the admission, and your visa, I have never seen anybody that the visa was denied, except you submit a forged document or something like that. So they have like really high acceptance rate when it comes
That's
to
great.
visa process. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And then, so I want to know a bit about the application process. Like, if you want to apply for a degree to Sweden for the first time, when is the application process starts, and when does the admission comes out in the first place? So tell us a bit about that.
Okay, so one thing about application for people that are looking into moving to Sweden for bachelor's studies is that because a lot of people used to ask this very one question: do they have age limit? They don't have any age limit. Any time that you want to go to school, you can go to school. So you
That's
can
great.
start your application by October. They usually open around October 17th every year, and they will close around January 16th or between that. But this year they will close January 16th. So you have like 2 weeks to put in your application, and then the result comes out around March ending and first week of April. Then for bachelor students, which we are talking about today, you have 2 rounds of application. So the one that we mentioned previously, that is October to January, and we also have another one for March, April. So you have 2 opportunities to apply for admission each year for bachelor students. So I think that, we still have a little bit time for you guys to put in your application for
Yeah.
studying in Sweden. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. And we're talking about this degree program. We want to also know a bit about the tuitions and the possible scholarship for these degree students.
Okay, so when it comes to applying for Sweden, they will give you the chance to choose 4 universities or 4 courses. So
Okay.
what people usually do is that you make a research on the universities that give scholarship for bachelor students. So when you make that research, you make sure that you select the program which you know that maybe the tuition is not that much, and you also have a chance of getting scholarship. So you select it as your number one university, because that will
choice.
help you to now apply for scholarship once you've submitted your application. Because most university will tell you that if you want to apply for our scholarship, you have to put us as your number one. So you need to
Okay.
make sure that you put that school as your number one. So that is it about scholarship. There are universities that offer scholarship for bachelor students, but when it comes for the tuition, you'll be seeing something like paying like a tuition deposit of maybe 3,000 euros or 4,000 euros tuition deposit, and then the rest of the tuition probably 6,000 to 8,000 euros per year. Almost the same thing like University of Applied Sciences and universities in Finland.
Here in
So it's,
Finland.
yeah, it's almost the same range of tuition. But the thing
Okay.
is that, when you divide the tuition deposit, it might be a little bit lower. But I will also advise you guys to also seek for those universities that gives you chance of apply for scholarship. I will give the link to Loveth, and she will as well post it on her description so that you can check
Great.
those universities and consider them.
That's good. That's good. So moving forward, we want to talk about after you had gotten admitted or any student has gotten admitted. So what happens next? What is the application process for residence permit? And how many years do a student get for the first residence permit?
Okay, so the resident permit is, it goes along like your study period. And then one thing about for bachelors, I think it goes along your study period, but for masters, it's like every year, 1 year, and then you renew it each year. So now, if you get your admission, the next thing for you is to, if you get the scholarship, then you get your offer letter, you have to accept the admission on the portal, so
Okay,
that if you don't accept it, they will give the chance to another person. So
of
you need to
course.
accept that. And then when you've accepted it, they will send you your offer letter. So if you don't get the scholarship, then you need to pay the tuition deposit. So when you've paid the tuition deposit, they will give you your unconditional offer letter. And with that, you as well provide your proof of fund. And when it comes to proof of fund, it's the same thing as UK. If you guys have been running the UK proof of fund, so you don't need like a past or previous bank statement. You just need a closing balance of how much they require. And yes, you can move with your family as students. So as student bachelor students. So when you are also closing the balance, make sure that the money for your children and your wife is in that balance so that you guys can apply at the same time. Then you as well buy your insurance, and then the insurance of your family if you're moving with your family. And also, I think that is all you need. And then your degrees and your SOP, statement of purpose for your visa, and then you can go ahead and submit your application. I will also attach a link, and I will send a link to Loveth so that she will attach where you will see like all the requirements for your visa. And then when you get your resident permit, if you applied with your family, you will get the resident permit card immediately, like the same time, the same card on the same email. So
That's
now it
good.
is time to move to Sweden. And then you guys can now talk about finding accommodation. But one thing about accommodation is that most schools have guaranteed housing for international students. So there are
Wow.
like houses that are made for international, apartments that are made for international students. So that,
Okay.
it makes it a little bit easier for you.
Easier. Of
Yes, because
course.
like the hassles of finding apartments in Europe,
Of
and
course.
also like the prices of apartments and all that. But the student apartments are like affordable, and is also
Yeah.
very good for like if you want to live with family and all that. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds great. And I forgot to ask also about the admission process, the selection process. Is it by selection method or is it by an entrance exam? And what do you think, according to the Finnish selection process, is very much important to have and of course to submit?
Yeah. Okay. So for bachelor students, I have never seen anybody that did not get admission for bachelor students in Sweden. No, it has never
Okay,
happened. Yeah. So the thing
really?
is, yes, yes. So the
Wow.
first thing that you need to do is there are two types of requirement. There is one we call general requirement and one we call specific requirement. So general
Okay.
requirement is on that particular website, the universityadmission.se. I'm going to give her the link so that you can check it. So all you need to do when you have selected the courses that you want to apply, you will
Mhm.
look at the top, you will see where they say my page, and you click on my page, you will see where they say documents, and
Yeah.
then you click on the document, you start uploading the document. So you will
Okay.
see international passport, you upload it, and you will see like a language proficiency certificate. So you just upload your WAEC certificate, or if you can get a letter from your school proving that your high school was taught in English, like
Yeah.
English language certificate, you just upload it. Okay, so that is it for the general requirement. Now, the specific requirement is those universities that you've chosen, you need to go to
Okay.
their pages and see if they ask for extra requirements. Some of them will
Okay.
ask you to provide CV. Some of them might ask you to provide motivation letter. So you need to
Okay.
make sure that you check the specific requirement that they need. So you will now
Okay.
see, you go back to that place you uploaded documents, and you will now select supporting documents, then you start uploading it. So make
Okay.
sure that you uploaded, like for example, if you want to go for Uppsala University, you make sure that you write something like motivation letter for Uppsala University, so that they will have access to that directly, and
Yeah.
not just, yeah, because you're
Okay.
uploading everything at the same time or in the same
Time.
portal. Yeah. So they will know
Okay.
which one is theirs and which one is other school. And yeah.
Okay.
So when you've uploaded this, if you upload everything correctly and you have all
Mm-hmm.
the specific requirement, there is at
Mm-hmm.
least 90% chance of you getting the admission. You don't need entrance exam. Yes, for
Sounds
bachelor
great.
students, you don't need entrance exam. You just need to make sure that everything is provided.
Okay, it's great to know actually that it's that easy to
Yeah.
actually get a study place in Sweden.
Yeah.
Okay, but then talking about the proof of fund or the money that you have to have in your account, what is it like in for your, of course, your residence permit application?
For the resident permit, you need to, well, if you multiply it, you need to have at least they call it 8,650 Swedish krona. And if you multiply it, it will be maybe around 800, 840, 850 euro per month. So
Okay,
calculating it by per year, you need to have at least like 10,500 euros per year in
okay,
your account.
oh,
So, but the
okay,
good part, like I mentioned, is that you don't need to show like the source of income or whatever. You just
yeah.
need to show like the closing balance. So, I mean, we use our sense and
Of course,
yeah,
of course, of course.
yeah.
That's so great. That's so great. So, moving forward, what is the availability of jobs for students, of course? And is it possible for students who live in Sweden to foot their bills, of course, their tuitions and the rest of the bills that they need during their stay, or do they have
Mm,
to necessarily have extra source of income coming away from friends or families abroad
mm,
or at home to support them? So,
mm.
what can you say about this?
Okay, so for this, it depends in the place that you are. So if you're in some cities where maybe because of some circumstances there might not be a lot of companies there, then if you choose those kind of universities, it might be a little bit difficult for you to foot your bill and finish up your tuition. So that is why students tend to go for those popular universities or the universities that are in bigger cities, or
Yeah,
not necessarily bigger cities, but at least like cities that are developed, not
yeah.
developed, but I mean, like, you
I
understand what I'm
totally
saying, like good
understand you.
cities.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you
Okay.
go to those cities, there are, I mean, I've always been amazed on the amount of shopping and the amount of what is it called, shopping centers that is in Sweden. So
Yeah.
students actually, at least I know that if you can bring yourself down to do the work, I mean, like a student, those part-time jobs, you will see
Yeah.
like all these menial jobs, like working in restaurants, working in shopping centers, working as a receptionist, all
Yeah.
those menial jobs. So that you can. And one good thing is that, I mean, for masters at least you have unlimited time to work, so you don't have
Okay.
like a time cap in that.
Yeah.
But for
Yeah.
bachelor's degree is for like 20 hours per week, I guess 20 hours per week. But one good thing is that if you move with your family, your wife or your husband can work unlimited time, and
Yeah.
if they want to study, they can study for free. So with that,
Okay.
it can also help to like foot the bill. But if
Yeah.
it
Of
is
course.
you alone, then you
Mm.
might want to do like all those menial jobs that probably pay a little bit higher, and probably the workload will be much higher because it pays higher. But you also
Yeah.
need to mind the time so that you will not exceed the time limit, like the 20
Yeah.
hours per week. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now after your studies, because if you study in those good big universities, not good but big universities, then you also have a chance of going for internship, and those internship will now help you towards getting a job. Because I've seen
Okay.
a lot of people, like after their bachelors, they go for all these big companies for internship, and after that they are there to work. So yeah,
Okay.
that is how it works.
Okay. Good. Good. And the study programs are, of course, in English language, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
definitely.
good. It's good to put that out there so you don't have to learn Swedish for you to come to Sweden to study. I think this will wrap our questions for today and our conversation with Cherry. I'm going to link her channel, of course, in this video, and you guys can go over to her channel to subscribe and follow her. Like, she is the bomb. She has a lot of videos for you to explore and of course look into the big world and decide wherever you want to go with her. Of course, she is there for you, and of course your girl Loveth here is always there for you. So thank you so much, Cherry, for joining us today, and we will be definitely be having you again at some point. And thank you once again. See you all, my friends and my viewers and my subscribers, in our next video. Bye, guys.